Okay, so today we're going deep on a story that's got it all.
Oh, yeah.
Investigative journalism, allegations of corruption within the Nigerian Navy,
I love it.
and a fight for transparency that could ripple far beyond Nigeria's borders.
Wow. Sounds interesting.
Ready to dive in?
Absolutely.
All right, so we're talking about the arrest of Fisayo Soyombo.
Okay.
This guy is a journalist known for his fearless investigations.
Uh-huh.
We're basing this whole deep dive on a statement from Adeyanju.
Okay.
He's a human rights activist, and he's calling Soyombo's arrest a blatant attempt to silence him.
Wow.
So why was he arrested?
Yeah, what?
Well, Soyombo was digging into oil theft, which is a massive problem in Nigeria.
Yeah, how massive are we talking?
Huge.
Okay.
And Adeyanju is pointing the finger at the Nigerian Navy.
Really?
Yeah, claiming they're not only aware of it, but potentially even complicit.
Wow, that's a big deal.
It is a really big deal.
And if true, that complicity is a huge problem.
Absolutely.
And this isn't just about missing barrels of oil. We're talking about billions of dollars annually for Nigeria.
Wow.
That kind of economic hit can destabilize entire regions,
Wow.
potentially even fueling terrorism or armed conflict.
Okay, hold on. That's a lot to unpack. I get that oil theft is bad,
Uh-huh.
but how could that impact me sitting here thousands of miles away?
Well, it's all connected, really.
Okay.
Think about the global energy market.
Yeah.
When a major oil producer like Nigeria experiences instability, it can send shockwaves through the entire system,
Yeah.
potentially driving up prices at the pump for everyone. Plus, the money lost to oil theft could be funneled into criminal networks with international reach.
So this is a problem that could affect anyone.
Yeah, it's a complex web with far-reaching consequences.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So back to the Navy.
Yeah.
What's their role in all of this?
So the Nigerian Navy is responsible for securing the country's vast coastline and its oil infrastructure. It's a hierarchical organization with various commands and units spread across the oil-producing regions.
Okay.
Adeyanju's statement specifically alleges that top-ranking officers,
Okay.
those with authority and control over these units, are exploiting their positions to facilitate the theft.
So are we saying that these high-ranking officers are essentially turning a blind eye to massive amounts of oil being stolen right under their noses?
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
That's the accusation.
Wow.
And logistically speaking, it's difficult to imagine how such large-scale theft could occur without at least some level of knowledge or involvement from within the Navy.
Right.
Think about the sheer volume of oil we're talking about.
Yeah.
It would require significant resources and coordination to transport and sell it on the black market.
That's a pretty serious accusation,
Yeah.
but is it possible Soyombo's arrest is unrelated to his investigation?
But if this is just a coincidence,
Yeah.
it's certainly possible, but the timing raises some eyebrows.
Sure.
Soyombo is known for his meticulous reporting.
Okay.
And he's exposed corruption before.
Mm-hmm.
Adeyanju argues that this arrest is a deliberate attempt to intimidate not only Soyombo, but any journalist who dares to investigate the powerful.
That's a chilling thought.
Yeah.
He's basically saying they're trying to make an example of Soyombo to scare off anyone else from poking around.
Yeah.
But how does silencing one journalist really affect the bigger picture?
I mean, there are other journalists, right?
Right.
Think of it this way. When journalists are targeted for exposing corruption, it creates a climate of fear.
Okay.
Other journalists might self-censor thinking twice before tackling sensitive topics. This undermines accountability, making it harder to expose wrongdoing and hold those in power responsible for their actions.
Right. And Adeyanju's statement keeps hammering on this idea of accountability. What does that actually look like in Nigeria?
Yeah.
What are the mechanisms that are supposed to be keeping things in check?
Well, there are legal frameworks and institutions, like anti-corruption agencies,
Yeah.
designed to investigate and prosecute those involved in corrupt practices.
Right. But when you have allegations against high-ranking officials, especially within the military, it becomes incredibly difficult to ensure these mechanisms function effectively.
So it's this vicious cycle where corruption erodes the very systems meant to combat it.
Exact.
And Adeyanju isn't just sitting back and complaining, though.
Nope.
His statement is a call to action. He's calling for public pressure for people to speak up and demand Soyombo's release. He's urging citizens, the media, international organizations, everyone to get involved.
Everyone.
He's saying this isn't just about one journalist. It's about protecting the very foundations of a free and just society.
And that's where the concept of civil society comes into play.
Okay.
It's about citizens actively participating in shaping their society, holding those in power accountable, and advocating for a transparent and just system.
So we've gone from this one journalist's arrest to a much larger discussion about corruption accountability and the role of citizens in a democracy.
We've seen how oil theft in Nigeria can impact the global economy and even potentially touch your life directly through fuel prices.
Right.
And we've talked about how silencing journalists not only undermines justice, but also weakens the very fabric of a free society.
Exactly. It's about connecting the dots, seeing how these seemingly disparate issues are interwoven and have far-reaching consequences.
And on that note, we'll leave you with this thought.
Okay.
If journalists are silenced, who will hold those in power accountable? What happens when the watchdogs are muzzled?
That's a good question.
Take some time to look into Fisayo Soyombo's work and consider the challenges faced by investigative journalists around the world.
I will.
It might make you appreciate the importance of a free press and the courage it takes to speak truth to power.
Absolutely.
And that's our deep dive for today.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.